The physician's recollections as a kid. I aimed to assist others. I observed physicians in lab coats. They appeared significant. They rescued lives. I informed my mom. Someday, I'll become a physician. She grinned and replied. You need to put in effort. I reviewed lessons daily. I examined numerous texts. I desired to grasp it all. I sought to comprehend body functions. I aimed to learn illness causes. I posed countless queries. My instructor noted. You're highly inquisitive. I enjoyed discovering fresh facts. It thrilled me. At school, I adored biology. I studied human anatomy. I discovered cardiac rhythms. I learned respiratory processes. It was astonishing. I craved deeper insight. I perused medical volumes. I viewed physicians on television. I aspired to emulate them. My pals played outdoors. They dashed and chuckled. Yet I remained indoors. I reviewed material. I strove to excel. My mom urged. Go outside. But I responded. I prefer studying. Time elapsed. I attended a major college. It proved challenging. The texts were thick. The exams were tough. Certain nights, I stayed awake. I served in medical centers. I encountered ill individuals. Some suffered discomfort. Some felt frightened. I wished to aid them. I aimed to improve their condition. I observed senior physicians. They acted swiftly. They understood procedures. I desired to mirror them. I shadowed them. I heeded their advice. I gained knowledge from them. One day, I assisted an elderly gentleman. He struggled with respiration. He spoke unclearly. His palms felt chilly. His complexion appeared ashen. I provided oxygen. I grasped his hand. I stated, You'll recover. His expression shifted. He seemed improved. He grinned. He said, Thanks, physician. That instant felt meaningful. I experienced pride. I realized I belonged there. I confirmed my correct decision. I served in various medical facilities. I encountered numerous patients. I aided them. Some faced minor issues. Some dealt with major ones. I dispensed medication. I offered optimism. Their grins strengthened me. Their comments energized me. I sought greater impact. I aimed to preserve more lives. I desired to become the top physician. But then an event occurred. My dad fell ill. He had been robust. Previously, he rarely required medical care. But now he appeared frail. He walked unsteadily. He consumed little food. He rested frequently. He seemed exhausted. I gazed at him. I felt fear. I was a physician, yet also his child. I wished to assist him, but felt anxious. I dreaded losing him. I reminded myself. Stay resilient. But inwardly, I fretted. I was uncertain of actions. I brought my dad to the medical center. I instructed the physicians. Assist him, please. They inquired extensively. They examined his heart. They inspected his lungs. They conducted tests. I observed attentively. I hoped for positive outcomes. But internally, I feared. I had treated many ill persons. I had aided numerous patients. But this differed. This involved my dad. Time progressed. My dad remained hospitalized. I sat nearby. I grasped his hand. He gazed at me and grinned. He said, Don't fret. But I detected pain. He appeared frail. He ate minimally. He spoke gradually. I desired action. I aimed to restore his strength. But I understood treatment requires time. I reminded myself. Remain patient. The physicians administered drugs. They advised rest. I observed the staff. They tended him. They replaced linens. They provided meals. They measured temperature. I knew they gave maximum effort. But watching proved difficult. I wished to contribute. I desired greater involvement. But I wasn't his physician. I was his child. Each evening, I remained with him. I monitored his breaths. I felt his pulse. I viewed the equipment. I understood the readings. I knew drug effects. Yet I felt powerless. I reflected on my patients. I recalled those I rescued. I had felt capable. I had known procedures. But now, uncertainty prevailed. One day, my dad gazed at me. He said, You're an excellent physician. His tone was gentle. His gaze was kind. I grinned, but felt inner ache. I hoped for. I feel improved. But he didn't state that. He simply regarded me lovingly. I grasped his hand. I said, You'll recover. I desired to trust my statement. I aimed for certainty. Additional time elapsed. My dad remained bedridden. He felt weary. He rested often. Occasionally he spoke little. I brought reading material. I shared tales. I aimed to cheer him. I desired his laughter. But I noticed I concerned. I knew he feigned strength for me. And I feigned for him. I rose early daily. I visited the medical center. I sat beside my dad. I grasped his hand. I inquired, "How are you?" He always replied, "Fine." But I knew otherwise. His tone lacked strength. His palms felt cool. His expression seemed fatigued. I attempted grins. I hid my concern. I aimed to support him. The physicians checked him. They reviewed results. They spoke quietly. I listened intently. They stated more time needed. I sought better news. I hoped for improvement reports. But they didn't provide that. I posed numerous queries. I desired full details. I aimed to assist. But now, I wasn't the physician. I was merely a child. I sat by his bedside. I read aloud to him. I described my job. I shared patient stories. He listened. He grinned. He said, "You're an excellent physician." His words filled me with pride, but I hoped for. "I feel improved." I desired his mobility. I wanted his appetite restored, but he remained frail. At night, I observed his rest. I monitored breaths. I viewed equipment. Readings stayed consistent. No decline, but no progress. I shut my eyes. I recalled my youth. I thought of childhood. My dad had been robust. He labored diligently. He cared for me. And now he lay bedridden. He required me. But I lacked solutions. One day, I wheeled him outdoors. I pushed the chair. Sunlight shone brightly. Skies appeared clear. He viewed the foliage. He grinned. He said, "Feels nice outdoors." I rejoiced at his grin. I desired normalcy for him. I aimed for his strength belief. I said, "You'll walk soon." He nodded, but eyes showed uncertainty. More time passed. He still required aid. He still needed drugs. But I persisted. I remained with him. I conversed. I assisted meals. I convinced myself of recovery. I needed to trust it. I had to trust it. I was a physician. I had rescued many lives. And now I needed to rescue his. Each morning, I sat beside my dad. I observed his slow awakening. He moved hands cautiously. He gazed and grinned. I asked, "Rest well?" He always affirmed. But I knew otherwise. He awoke often nightly. He coughed. He shifted uncomfortably. But he avoided complaints. He shielded me from worry. The staff checked him. They posed queries. They dispensed drugs. They noted records. I observed. I sought every detail. I aimed to track progress. They stated stability. I desired more. I hoped for improvement news. But they didn't state that. I strove for optimism. I practiced patience. In afternoons, I wheeled him outside again. Air felt crisp. Sunlight warmed. He viewed garden blooms. He said, "Beautiful here." I grinned. I desired his enjoyment. I aimed for his joy. I pushed the chair gently. I conversed. I shared medical tales. He listened. He chuckled slightly. I cherished his laughter. At night, I sat in his room. I observed his meals. He consumed minimally. I asked, "More?" He shook his head. I wished to strengthen him. I desired greater action. But I knew patience required. I had to await. I had to trust time's healing. I convinced myself of recovery. One evening, he gazed at me. He said, "You labor excessively. Rest needed." I grinned. I said, "I'm okay." But I knew fatigue. I had rested poorly for days. But it mattered little. My dad took priority. I desired presence. I aimed to care for him, as he had for me in childhood. More time elapsed. I monitored closely. I felt his pulse. I viewed his expression. Some days improved, some days weary. But he persisted. He continued effort. And I remained. I grasped his hand. I conversed. I provided optimism. Because I trusted recovery. Because I required his recovery. Days became weeks. I spent every instant with my dad. I observed each motion. I noted minor shifts. Some days he sat longer. Some days he consumed slightly more. These small things gave me hope. I told myself he is getting better. But I was still afraid. I wanted to see big changes. I wanted to see him walk again. I wanted him to be strong like before. One morning, he looked at me and said, "I want to try walking." His voice was soft but determined. I felt a mix of emotions. I was happy. But I was also scared that I knew he was still weak, that I did not want him to fall. But I smiled and said, "Okay, let's try." I helped him sit up. I held his arm. Slowly, he put his feet on the floor. He stood up, shaking. He took one small step, then another. My heart was racing. He was walking. He sat back down after a few steps. He was tired, but he was smiling. I felt tears in my eyes. I said, "You did it." He nodded. "I will try again tomorrow," he said. I held his hand. "Yes, you will," I whispered. At that moment, I felt something change. I felt real hope for the first time in weeks. I believed he would recover. The doctors saw his progress. They were happy. They said, "He is improving." Those words felt like music to my ears. The nurses smiled at him. They encouraged him. He tried walking every day. He was slow, but he did not stop. He pushed himself. He wanted to be strong again. I admired his courage. He never gave up. One evening, we sat outside. The sky was orange and pink. The air was cool. My father looked at me. He said, "You have taken good care of me." I smiled. "You took care of me first," I said. He laughed softly. He reached for my hand. "I am proud of you," he said. I felt warmth in my heart. Those words meant everything to me. I watched him closely. He still needed rest. He still needed medicine. But he was better than before. I knew he was on the right path. I knew he would be okay. I told myself this is why I became a doctor. I wanted to help people. I wanted to give them hope. And now I was giving hope to the person I loved the most. More time passed. My father kept trying. He walked more. He ate more. He talked more. The hospital was not his home anymore. He was getting ready to leave. I felt relief. I felt happiness. I had spent years saving lives. But this time, saving my father's life meant everything. The day finally came. My father was ready to leave the hospital. The doctor said he can go home now. I felt happiness in my heart. I had waited for this moment. I had dreamed about it. My father smiled at me. He was still weak, but he was stronger than before. He said, "Let's go home." Those words felt like magic. They felt like victory. I helped him into the car. He looked outside the window. The city was busy. People walked fast. Cars moved quickly. Life outside the hospital felt different. It felt normal. My father took a deep breath. "Fresh air," he said. I laughed. "Yes, fresh air," I said. I knew he had missed the outside world. He had missed home. When we arrived home, I helped him inside. He sat in his favorite chair. He looked around. "I miss this place," he said. I smiled. "This place?" "Miss you too," I said. My mother brought him tea. He held the warm cup in his hands. He took a sip. He closed his eyes. "Perfect," he whispered. I could see the peace in his face. He was home. The days passed. My father walked more. He moved slowly. But he did not stop. He sat in the garden. He enjoyed the sun. He read books. He listened to music. He talked to my mother. He laughed with me. Every little thing felt special. Every small moment felt important. I watched him carefully. I saw his strength return. One afternoon, he called me. "Come here," he said. I sat next to him. He looked at me with warm eyes. "You have been a great son," he said, "and a great doctor." I felt my heart grow warm. "I just did what you taught me," I said. He smiled. "You saved me," he whispered. I held his hand. "You saved yourself," I said. I thought about my journey. I had saved many lives. I had seen many patients recover. But this was different. This was personal. I had fought for my father's life. I had stayed with him every day. I had believed in him when he was weak. And now he was strong again. I knew I would never forget this experience. More time passed. My father became himself again. He walked without help. He ate well. He laughed often. I looked at him and felt proud. He had won his battle. And I had learned something important. Being a doctor is not just about medicine. It is about hope. It is about love. It is about never giving up. I sat with my father in the garden. The sky was blue. The birds sang. He looked at me and said, "You are a good man." I smiled. "I had a great teacher," I said. He laughed. We sat there in silence, enjoying the moment. I felt peace. I felt happiness. My father was here. He was alive. And that was all that mattered. Thank you all for your time and attention today. I hope you found the lecture insightful. Take care, and I look forward to our next session.